My 75-gallon MBUNA tank looks like shit, and today I'm going to be making it look amazing and give them all the caves they need. But I've also got another tank that's going to get some love too.
Just in case you don't know, I recently installed some aqua decor in my 10-foot long American Cichlid tank over here. One of the things I added was a branch that goes across almost the entire length of the tank that looks incredible, a bunch of fake rocks, and then some fake leaves. But one of the rocks had a little seam going across the middle of the rock that made it look like it wasn't entirely a real rock. And so I let Aqua Decor know. They said, we're gonna send you a new one, and they did. It's this rock right here, which looks like it's a great one. So this will look great in the tank, but they also decided to send me something that I was interested in, this standing root that's gonna go in on the right side of the tank where Eel Longoria, my tire track eel, is eventually gonna go. Right now that corner's kind of vacant looking, so I wanna fill it with something. And this is what they sent. This is the standing root. And just look at all the detail on this thing. Incredible. So this is gonna go vertically in that side of the tank. So let's get this in my big ass American Cichlid tank. But first, let me show you what's going on with my 75-gallon MBUNA tank.
Like all my tanks, this tank has great water quality and the fish are well taken care of, but it really does look like no one loves them. You might be thinking, this guy has a YouTube channel and his tank looks like this. Well, just remember that I've been super busy with my 435-gallon American Cichlid tank setup, and also, anyone can have a YouTube channel, even me. That should be enough water siphoned out. Time to get these rocks out of here. I'll be reusing a lot of them, but I have a lot more to make caves for days for these MBUNA nut jobs. Oddly satisfying to watch, isn't it? I debated on whether I should remove the fish while this whole thing is going on, but I decided against it. This is definitely going to be a stressful period in their nut job lives, but I actually think it might be more stressful to catch them, put them in a bucket for a few hours, and then add them back again. Maybe I'm wrong, I mean it wouldn't be the first time, but that's my plan. I want the bottom of the tank to have very little sand on it so the egg crate will fit nice and flat on it. And I found that scooping it out with a plastic food container works amazingly well. Don't tell my wife I'm using these or she'll kill me. This part can be extremely stressful for the fish, so I'm just keeping an eye on them to make sure they're doing okay, and so far they're doing fine. That's most of it, and I'm getting bored of removing sand, so let's get the egg crate in there. And this is what the egg crate looks like, by the way. Got it at Lowe's for 20 bucks. Just scrubbing some glass. And in she goes.
Subscribe or someone dies. Ding ding.
This is a problem. Don't want to trap some of my boys under it. What could I do? Oh yeah, let's big brain this problem and flip the grid. It's not easy being as smart as I am. With that in place, I'm going to throw in a little bit of the sand to try to fill the holes in the crate somewhat before adding the rocks. Oh, and speaking of rocks, let me show you the new ones I'll be adding. Dreamy music signifying we're drifting back in time. You really should do more to ensure that your rocks are aquarium ready, but this works for me. I found my rocks down by the river in a clean spot with no industrial sites upstream. I used to boil them, but now I just scrub them under some hot water. Been doing this for a while now with no issues. And I know it's not the way, so you don't need to comment on what a bad fish keeper I am, because I already know. Look at all these beautiful MBUNA house building supplies. Now for the fun part, time to make some caves. I'm placing some of the rounder rocks somewhat evenly along the bottom as a type of foundation to build on. You want them flat on the grid before adding sand because MBUNA are sand movers, and even the sand under the rocks isn't safe. If your rocks aren't firmly on the bottom of the tank or egg crate, then they'll eventually get there, and that shift could cause your entire cave system to come crashing down, possibly harming one of your MBUNA in the process. With the bottom layer in, let's dump some sand back into the tank. I'm actually leaving some of it out because I think it looks better with a little less in there. And now we build the caves. But before we finish this out, let me drift back to my 435-gallon American Cichlid tank, and let's get that root and the new rock in there. I already told you I get bored easily, getting restless if I'm on a project too long, but don't worry, we'll come back to these MBUNA. Both the root and the rock are hollow, so you just fill them with some tank water so they don't float. And I might be able to move this rock with a noticeable seam to the back so it isn't so noticeable. That should do. And the new one will go right here. Just look at that. And now for the root. Actually, I'm going to remove Eel Longoria's home first, since it'll be too small by the time she moves in. How does all that poop and detritus find its way in here? It's like a filth magnet. And there it is. What do you think? Does it fit in with the rest of the tank, or does it look like I just had an extra piece of decor and shoved it in?
With just the one root in there, I think it kind of looks out of place. But if I were to add maybe 3 or 4 more of them all the way around it, that might look pretty cool. But I could also add something like some standing logs, vertical standing logs all the way around it too, like I have in my 180. I'm kind of indecisive about what I want to do with this thing, but let me know what you think. What are your thoughts? For now, let's get back with the MBUNA.
Let's pile up some rocks. If they seem too wobbly, I'll just find another place for them. Don't want any accidents. Keep it safe. Don't want these things falling on a wandering MBUNA, but I also don't want there to be any way one could fall and hit the glass panels either. Look, they're already loving these caves. You can see them kind of peeking out every once in a while to see what the heck is going on. I'd like to go higher than this, but I need a larger base, so this will have to do. And I think it's much better than that weak, shitty pile I had in here before, don't you agree? And they're already enjoying it. Just look at them darting in and out of their new cave system. I'm gonna let them go to sleep since it's late and the water's cloudy, so let's take a look and see what things are like tomorrow once the dust has settled a bit and they've got more comfortable in there. Oh, and I'll feed them.
Real quick before I get there, let me show you something about this tank that makes it the absolutely strangest tank I've ever owned. It happens throughout the day, but it always happens when I get home from work too. The tank lights aren't on, but there's plenty of ambient light in the room to let you know what's happening. Check it out.
This is an actual shot of my tank when I got home from work at 4 p.m. Look, not a fish in sight. Looks like it's just a tank full of rocks. Ooh, look at my barren rock tank. They love their caves. What a bunch of weirdos. None of them are using the caves right now because it's 5 p.m. and that means dinner. So let's drop some delicious Northfin veggie pellets in. They'll dine and then you'll see them using their caves again. Look at this guy, he's got like 3 pellets in his mouth. Oh my gluttonous little bastard fish. They're so much more interesting to watch now that they have all these new places to go. All these caves help with aggression too, because once a chase starts, it's pretty much over immediately, because they can just vanish into a myriad of caves, leaving their aggressors dumbfounded and alone. They look like they just ran a marathon because they feasted like the pigs they are. Eating always gets them all worked up. And I knew they'd love the caves, but I really didn't know that they'd love them this much. And I couldn't be happier with my day's work. I mean, I guess there's always room for improvement, but this'll do for now.
Let me know what you think of both tanks in the comments. Make sure you subscribe for future updates on all my tanks. But for now, that's a wrap.